Hey, it's Grace Duckworth. I'm here with another tip for yoga and wellness every day of December. Last night in my vinyasa class, we were working a lot with Ustrasana or Camel pose, and that inspired me to put together a little tutorial for you today and ways that you can strengthen that back bend Camel pose by using the wall. If I have all the props available to me, I usually like to use a blanket under my knees because you're there for a while. And I like to take a block between the thighs and sometimes a block between the feet even. But you don't need any of those props, so I was just going to show with a wall today. I don't have a whole lot of wall space in my apartment, so I'm going to take down this piece of art and try not to hit my face on the nail in my wall. So that I can demo, there I am, so I can demo Ustrasana for you. So you're gonna get as close to the wall as you possibly can. And wow, that nail is just close enough that I'm not gonna hit my face. And I like to build into it in layers. So the first way I start is pushing my body into the wall as much as I can, taking my hands to the back of the skull. And this is exactly where I'm putting my hands. If you put them down to your neck, it makes it too easy to collapse into the neck. Whereas if you put your hands at the back of the skull, it kind of acts like a support and it allows you to go a little bit deeper into your back bend without collapsing into the neck. Because, it used to be taught to drop your head back in back bends like camel pose or upward facing dog, anything where you're really like lifting the heart, people tended to drop their head back. And now we know that collapsing in the neck can actually limit oxygen to the brain. It can cause degeneration in the neck. It causes unnecessary pressure into the entire cervical spine, into the entire neck. So now we know that actually it's better to keep your neck long, and that's why we'll put our hands in that position. So again, steady at the wall. I'm going to take my hands to my skull. On the inhale, I'm going to just lift my heart up so I get taller at the wall. And on the exhale, I'm going to scoop the pelvis under and lean back only as far as I can, keeping my hips at the wall. I'm going to inhale and then exhale, squeeze all the way back up to the wall. So the next time I'm going to go through, so I would do that a few times. And by the way, I would have warmed up before all of this. I probably would have done, some sort of back bending work in my vinyasa warm-ups to be able to get my spine and core ready enough to be able to do this kind of work. And the next step, I would take my hands to my lower back, get a little bit deeper back bend, then we'll go to the thighs, and then to the feet. So I'm going to come back up to the wall. I'm going to start with my hands at my head, inhale to lift, and the exhale pull away, then take my hands to the lower back and see if I can lift my heart more, keeping my thighs and hips at the wall. If I was holding a block, I'd really be squeezing my thighs into it, so I'm going to pretend as I hold this, and then when I'm ready, I'll pull back up to the wall. So once you get a little more comfortable with that, and you make sure you're not losing your alignment by pulling away from the wall, then you can start to take your hands down the thighs. So this is the test to see if your spine is flexible enough and your core is strong enough to support taking your hands to your heels. This is the test that tells you, yes, I can, or I have a little bit of work to do before I get to that point. Same way. Inhale up, exhale, pull back, hands to back, and then I'm going to try to slide my fingers down to the crease of my knees, but keep pushing my thighs into the wall. And you can see it's more of a lift up than it is a drop back. My neck is long and supported, and it's kind of like a crunch. When you pull yourself out, you're pulling ribs and pelvis toward each other, so you're using your core to lift out. So if you're taking your hands down your thighs and you start to feel a little shaky, that's where you stop. If you can slide your fingers all the way down to the crease of your knees, that means you are in the space you need to be for your hands to go to your heels, and you're strong enough to support it. A lot of the time we just drop back into camel pose, even one hand at a time, which isn't wrong. There's nothing bad about it, but it's not very supported, and if you were at risk of slipping a disc in your spine, that would be a very easy way to do it, is going back to camel one hand at a time. So instead you want to make sure you're really, really strong and supported. And so if you can get your fingers all the way down into the crease of the knees, you should be able to just slide your fingers back across the calves to the heels and be in place. So I'll show that variation now. As you can see, I make transitions each step of the way. I'm going to continue supporting my neck by locking my throat. I'm using glutes, I'm using all sorts of muscles in my legs. I'm pushing the shins down, my feet down. I'm lifting my heart up. It's a very tall pose. I'm pulling my lower ribs toward each other. I'm squeezing my adductors, my inner thighs to engage the pelvic floor. There's a lot going on. When I'm ready to come out, same thing in reverse. Ribs and pelvis again, pull you together to come out. I would definitely follow this up with a child's pose. Giving plenty of time to relax the back in a counter pose like child's pose, soften the neck, maybe take space in between the shoulder blades. I hope this kind of helps you understand Ustrasana a little bit better. It's a very tall, very stacked pose. A lot of the time when we're practicing away from a wall, myself included, instead of keeping that nice alignment of hip and knee, we end up sliding our hips back to get our hands to the heels. We end up collapsing in the neck because it feels like we're going into a deeper back bend, when really it's just your heavy head pulling back and your core isn't strong enough to support you. So I think you need strong core, but you also need strong neck core. You need the front of your throat to be actively hugging and working to keep the back of the neck long. Hope you found this to be helpful. I can't wait to hear about how it goes when you practice it on your own. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out gracedupworth.com as I prepare to launch my online yoga studio in January. Have a wonderful day. Bye.